I'm talking. This is me talking,
Yep.
and I'm talking, and I'm talking, and I'm talking, and talking, and talking, and talking, and talking, talking, and talking, and talking, and talking, 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 talking.
All right, stop talking. No.
That is our whole podcast today. And it's underrated. Underrated favorites. Movies you might have missed.
And hello, everyone, to Underrated Favorite Movies You Might Have Missed. My name is Nique.
And I am Roost.
Yeah, and this is a podcast where we look at movies at least 10 years or older that we think deserve some re-examining, some re-dissection and reconstruction, and decide whether or not they went too far under the radar and deserve a second classification of conversation. Today, we are talking about
Abute.
Abute.
We're Canadian now.
We are.
Hey, what's up, Canada?
We're taking
we
it
love you.
We're taking it to the barnyard. What are we doing today, Nique?
We're taking it to good old 1957 Tennessee with Rock-A-Doodle.
You want a quick breakdown of the film? Or I can do it. I'll do it.
Oh, yeah, you do the quick breakdown. I'll do the stats.
Got it. So a quick breakdown on the film Rock-A-Doodle. It came out in the year 1991. It is a family cartoon that stars the voice of Glenn Campbell, Americana country singer, Toby Scott Granger, and Christopher Plummer. Directed by Don Bluth, Rock-A-Doodle is a psychedelic rural folktale about Chanticleer, played by Glenn Campbell, a barnyard rooster who has convinced the other animals that his crowing will make the sun rise. One day he forgets to crow because he was basically mugged.
He was jumped.
It was one guy. You can't be.
Oh, okay. Well, no. Okay. He was just beat up. He got attacked.
He won the fight.
He won the fight, but he was down. Like he got beat up a little bit.
Yeah.
He won, but he still got beat up.
Yeah. It was a plot. And so he fails to crow, but the sun still comes up and everyone kind of points and laughs. And they say, oh my God, you are a phony baloney. So he flees the barnyard and goes to the big city in shame. But as he departs, massive storms and dark clouds stop the sun from appearing. The animals get worried. So a mouse named Peepers, a kitten called Edmund, which I have thoughts on, lead a gang on a trip to find Chanticleer in the city, bring him back to the barnyard because the owls are causing all kinds of fuck shit.
I remember this movie. I loved it.
Okay, good. There we go.
I love that.
That was our producer Chibi chiming in.
And that's what Underrated Favorites is all about, you know? The movies you forgot that you love.
So why is it on this podcast? Give us the breakdown on the budget, ratings, and such.
Okay, so with a budget of 18 million, it only made 11 million back in the box office, with roughly a little under 3 million being from the opening weekend. Yeah.
And roughly about 8 million coming from you just replaying it.
Hell yeah. And then as far as ratings, we'll talk about the specific areas that the critics fucking hated this movie. Mm-hmm. So it has a ratings on Rotten Tomatoes of a 20%, and I see 6% on here now. I know I read that it originally came out with a 4 out of 10 on IMDb. Yeah,
it's a stanker.
Yeah, they really didn't like it, and we'll talk about the specifics later. But that is the overview of Rock-A-Doodle. If you're wanting to watch it, it is currently streaming on Prime Video.
So before we get into the spoilers, let's have a little concessions, a little popcorn, a little Dr. Pepper, a little something to digest before we really get into the movie. So. So, how old were you when you first saw Rock-A-Doodle? Why you love this movie?
I do love this movie.
So how old were you when Nique found the cock of the walk, Chanticleer?
No, ill. Okay, honestly, I don't know. This movie came out in 92?
91.
91, it says 92 some places. Anyway, it came out.
Stupid. I was there. It was 91.
Oh, well, you were there.
I was there.
You weren't paying attention to it though. Anyway. So it came out before I was born, either way. So I know I saw it early, and I know it was it was part of like a troupe of movies that came out with this such as
because I agree with you. I feel like this was a time of animated movies that were kind
and it wasn't just Disney. And like we'll talk more about that. That's probably so this is the studio that brought you All Dogs Go to Heaven, The Fox and the Hound. Well, technically The Fox and the Hound is Disney, but it is these animators, this team. And then after this, Penguin and the Pebble, the Troll in Central Park, and Thumbelina.
Definitely an underrated favorite that we will get to at some time. Troll in Central Park.
Yes. And then I believe like their last big movie was Anastasia. So it's that animation team.
So you were young.
Yeah, I was young and it was in a run, you know?
It was just kind of like you had a box of VHS cartoons.
Yes, yep. And this was one that I loved.
And it was high on the list?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, like, it wasn't like my favorite. My favorite favorites, I don't think are underrated. Like, I think my favorite favorites were Mary Poppins and Lion King. Yeah, that's not happened. But yeah, but this is definitely one that I like loved. I think this is also one that I didn't own for a while. So it was like when I went to certain cousins' house, it's like, we gotta put on Rock-A-Doodle.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Great
title. Let's start there.
Yes.
Rock-A-Doodle. Who hadn't thought of that before is a mystery one. For me, I'm of three minds of this movie.
Okay.
I remember when it came out, I was like 8. So I was in the prime zone for this film. I remember seeing it and like, this looks amazing. The problem with Rock-A-Doodle is not even a problem with Rock-A-Doodle. It's just that Disney came up over the top like very soon after with like Lion King, Little Mermaid, all these got washed the fuck out to where I was like, that's that one movie. And not for nothing, when I was a kid, I thoroughly enjoyed Rock-A-Doodle. I was like, this is fantastic. And it was totally rewatchable. I could just pop in at any time. It didn't matter where the hell like it was at in the movie. I was game. Then I saw it again later in life. It was a giant question mark. I was like, wait, do I even remember this movie right? And it aged badly.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about this is the this is concessions, pre-spoilers.
I hear that, yeah. Okay. But now, as a much older individual, I'm kind of like, I kind of get it. I understand the whole mission statement of the film. There's still a lot of parts of it that I have problems with, but there are things about Rock-A-Doodle that I love that we will get into. So let's talk about some of the animation in the cinema history.
Oh, wait. So before we jump back, we just want to talk about like, why is it on the pod? Another, like, not just from the box office. I'd like to throw out that in 2011, Total Films made a ranking of the 50 worst children's films ever, and Rock-A-Doodle came in at 24. I don't agree with this, but that is that shows that people like still, this was 2011. They did not appreciate.
No.
They did not appreciate. So yeah, that is our concessions. So we're about to get into the spoilers. If you want to pause and go watch it because either you haven't seen it around or you literally never fucking heard of it, it is currently streaming on Prime Video. So it's time to rewind and pause.
I think it's only right that we start this pod and this part of Rewind Pod with one thing.
What?
Click! Because you got to.
We want Chanticleer. We want. Yes,
that needs to be a t-shirt. We want Chanticleer.
We want Chanticleer.
Yeah.
We can make it.
We could. That would be some underrated favorites merch. That would be a good idea for underrated favorites merch, where we just put like certain like quotes or things from like we get Death to Smoochie. There's some great ones.
There are.
All right.
Maybe okay. Later. But yeah, so getting into the storyline. So we gave the overview, but
why did critics hate it?
So it's really chopped up into two main things for why critics hated it. And it's one, the storyline, and two, the music.
They tried to Wizard of Oz it as far as the story goes.
How so?
Yeah. Let me tell you one of my biggest things of why I hated it like the second go round, but then love it or sort of appreciate it more now. I fucking hate Edmund.
Okay.
The kid, so annoying. he is the worst part. But what I mean by the whole Wizard of Ozing of it is that what we learn when we watch the movie is originally we see Chanticleer in the barn or in the farm with all these amazing cast of characters and how he does his dance, he does his song. And then when they kind of spoil that he's not the one who raises the son and he leaves, we are pulled out of the story because we find out that it's actually a mother
reading a book
to her son, Edmund.
Yeah.
Is it Edmund?
Yes.
Okay. I always get it confused. So she's reading the story to Edmund and Edmund's like, oh, but what's going on with this story? What's happening? And then, just like Wizard of Oz, there's a terrible storm happening outside. So much so that Edmund catches a concussion, apparently. It's blurry because the owl hits him with the magic, but I just think that's clearly the window got blown in the same way Dorothy did, and now he's dealing with CTE because at the end of the movie, when he comes out of it, his mom's like, Edmund, you awake? Come on, honey, wake up, please. Edmund, wake up. Stop, breathe. Which is also nuts because when he does, and he's like, where's Chanticleer? And he opens the window, his entire family is just living life as if their son was not in a coma. And that's interesting.
Well, I think that goes back to the problem that a lot of the critics had with it. It's that the storyline is just unclear. One critic called it poor and confusing, and which rendered the whole film pointless. Another pointed out that it's filled with plot holes, forced fun elements, and a rejection of the source material's powerful message about the importance of self-knowledge. So with it being thrown together, there's a problem in the storyline with the timeline. This all happens in one night.
But it feels
it's like as they're going through it, there's or at least 3 days.
That's why I feel like the kids in a coma.
One night.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then there's just it's really the pacing of it is just, and then I will say the storyline with when
he's in Hollywood,
I won't say that it is filled with plot holes. I feel like it's filled with things that were little
listen, as someone who loves the movie Legend, I'm okay with plot holes because is it a whimsical as fuck movie?
Yes.
The whimsy carries you over those potholes.
So that's the thing is
a nice little leap.
I think it's one of those things where when you look at, I feel kind of fuck critics because this movie made up with home release, it made up for a lot of this.
Kids loved Rock-A-Doodle. I can speak from experience.
But it's one of those that it's forgotten. It's flown under the radar.
It's because it's flown under the radar because I think you're of the generation, kind of similar to my brother who loved Rock-A-Doodle. After that, it never got that Toy Story push. There's no Rock-A-Doodle 2 or even Lion King to a certain extent. Because remember, Lion King 2 had a whole run.
And then 1.5.
Yeah, Rock-A-Doodle. But because Rock-A-Doodle wasn't a Disney movie, it just kind of...
that's something that I guess we could get into now. I was going to do it on the cultural impact. We'll do it on cultural impact. And so it's really just for the plot. It's one of those you have to be down for the ride. You have to be down for the ride.
Psychedelic.
And that's the reason why maybe 20-year-old you was too cynical. You were against the message of it.
No,
that's part of the message.
20-year-old me was really into psychedelics and psychedelic. Rock-A-Doodle wasn't psychedelic enough. As an adult or older now, I still realize it's not psychedelic enough. But for a child, it's psychedelic.
It's a nice thin line there.
Oh no, it's off its balls, man. Why does the owl have breath powers?
It's the magic. That was another complaint is that the magic powers look cheap from because it's stars and crescent moons.
I don't even care about that. It's just, it's inconsistent. It's why? So do all the owls have this power?
No, it's the Grand Duke. He's the Grand Duke. He's the only one with powers. The rest of them are lackeys. But there's also...
But why all this owl hate? That too.
That is love owls. We do love owls.
We love roosters too. Hey, shout out me.
Shout out me.
Why this owl hate? But I do like the fact that they're essentially these literal fly-by-night villains who are trying to make the world dark and evil. And I think there's deep...
Because they are...
On the rewatch, I actually see a lot more darker, nefarious things.
Yes.
That I even saw as a kid or even in my cynical 20s.
This is time to talk about the plot. So give it to me.
So the whole Hollywood is evil thing is big. Rock-A-Doodle was telling us years ago that they are trafficking people. They are getting them on exploitive contracts They are blackmailing them to perform way early on. That's what it was. And that they with threats of violence and death.
Yeah.
So that was what was, I think, sort of more fascinating to me. I'll be honest, the whole barnyard shit it loses its charm over the years. I'm sorry, it does.
To you.
But so going back to Edmund real fast, I think that part of we pull out and he's a real little boy who's then in the story. I think that was some weird never ending story bullshit, like trying to capitalize on that. If he was just the cat the whole time, the little kitten, I think that would have made the story immensely better. Like if he was just in the barnyard, he was just kind of new to, like if he was just a baby kitten who was like new to the farm. And sort of like Chanticleer, and Chanticleer's like, bro, I left before you got here. Who are you? Much better movie. Like, we don't need the mom. We don't need the fucking real family. We don't need none of that shit. You can even still go all the way to where the owl essentially murders him. And I mean, we're spoiling, so
we're spoiling. That does happen.
Yeah, he strangles with magic breath. Thank God, magic breath, because we don't want to see like
actual owl feathers wrap around
on a young, adorable kitten neck.
It was kind of graphic, even with it, because it was clear like strangulation happening.
Right.
Anyway,
I forgot that he dies, basically, because it wasn't until he like lays him out, and then they're like, "Oh my God, is he okay?" And it's like, "I don't know, I don't think so." Chanticleer, please come back. Like, it's getting dark. We have an official homicide that has happened. That the barnyard is a site of oppression, a site of it's so much is going on in the barnyard.
So much is going on there's so much going on in this movie, period.
Yeah. But that's what I think psychedelic movies do. And like, in my opinion, like that's why I think a movie goes psychedelic. Like it's to just throw
these things in
throw
there. Just,
all of it in there, just in little ways and forms. Because I could argue that if someone were to watch the Hollywood part of Rock-A-Doodle, that's off its balls in itself.
Yes.
Like, what's the name of the pheasant that he's into, that Chanticleer's into? Or he's the king when he moves to the city?
Yeah, the king.
Penny the pheasant.
Yeah.
Right? Penny, she's kind of like an icon of like femininity for the time. Like, she's curvy, she's busty, she has that little baby voice, like on some Marilyn Monroe shit, where she's just like, "Oh my God, I don't want to tell Chanticleer about the barn, and now they really miss him." But
it's Goldie. That's her name. Goldie.
Yes, Goldie the pheasant.
Yeah,
excellent. So Goldie is kind of being like sexually exploited and all these other things.
Go make him happy. Like, if that isn't
clear. What they meant.
Yes.
Chanticleer really kind of just like glossed that over. He was just like, "Hey, we're on this motorcycle, darling. We're getting out of here." And like, good for him. Good for him being a feminist icon.
Problems. He has bigger problem. He realized that like she was also like, she ain't mean to betray him by being pimped out to him. But anyway, that's
that's the plot of this movie.
That is this children's film.
There's pimping, all types of scumbaggery,
attempted murder.
There's also this weird interconnected like corruption. That's why I bring up corruption, because there's the phone call that happens between the owls and the fox in Hollywood, where he says, "Hey, BT Dubs, there are these
animals are coming and they're trying to bring Chanticleer back."
Like
Fox
money.
is like, "What they got to do with me?" And the owl's like, "Look at this. You like money. You making money off of him, right? I don't want him over here because I like the dark, right? Like, so we need to team up."
And they do. They get feather and paw in bed with each other.
They do, to
oppress the proletariat.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts on it.
That is a good summation. Congratulations there. That was really good. Now, based on like I said, I'm saving source material, but based on just what you know, would you say this is an original film?
I do. I think it isn't a fully realized production. And what I mean is, one of the other problems that I had in my 20s and then even now with Rock-A-Doodle is who it's focused on. Like, it's the story of Chanticleer, but we spend so much annoying time with
Edmund. Just hate Edmund.
I hate that I saw him as a kid first, then turned into a kitten and all that. If he had just been a kitten the whole time, it might be a different story. Swear to God. I swear. But because I saw him as an annoying child who then was turned into a kitten, and that's part of the movie where they're like, hey, kitten. He's like, I'm not a kitten. I'm a little boy.
Yes,
it's like,
that is a reoccurring.
fuck you, kid. Okay, then
There are bigger problems here.
Yeah, okay. We don't care about your humanness or non-humanness.
No, I think it was because they needed to, like, how would he know how to build a paper airplane? And then that's why they say kittens don't know how to do that. And that's why he has to be like, well, I'm not a kitten. Little boys do.
Yeah. But I mean, they just didn't have to say that. Just let the kitten do the thing. Like, you see what I mean?
They were worried. So
the drugs were kicking in at the wrong times and the right times with Rock-A-Doodle.
Well, no, so that goes to one of the things, like having the protagonist, why they added in when we get to the production part of it, like the reason why they added in the kitten to be kind of like the thing is, like your avatar through the movie is because some of the complaints from the original material that was written for this movie was that roosters aren't cuddly enough for people to care.
As a rooster, let me say, go fuck yourself, parents. All right.
That is, and so that's now you are.
Thank you. And so is Chanticleer.
I mean, he was.
We'll get, Actually, can we talk? Is that on the plot? Where is this on? Well, no, when we get to characters.
When we get to characters, we'll talk about
I got some Chanticleer thoughts.
You got some Chanticleer thoughts? Okay. Well, let's see. Overarching themes.
It's so deep. Like, honestly, you have the one thing about the Edmund as a young boy story that is fascinating to me is you're kind of seeing something that exists today, which is like the erosion of rural America. It's literally like, hey, storms are coming. We can't stop it. And like, all we have is us. And whether it's financial, whether it's literal climate change, like they're talking about it in 1991. Like the flood is here and all we have is us. And that's life out in rural America. And so I really kind of like that. I just really hate the mom. I really hate the family, and I really hate the little boy. But
you just hate all the humans.
All the human elements of it, like it's not necessary.
Okay.
Period. Point blank. But other themes, I like we already touched on it. The Hollywood theme, I think, is super deep. There is a racial component to this.
Ooh.
Where I feel like, and this is where it gets complicated and maybe it dovetails into character, but I feel like this is also subtly a movie about rural Black, like, singers and songwriters being pushed through the Hollywood machine and exploited and taken away from their community. Straight up. Rock-A-Doodle's deep.
It is.
These motherfuckers ain't on the level, though. These critics, they're just thinking about plot holes. Fucking, you know what else is a giant plot hole? Racism.
That is.
It's a giant plot hole in American history, all right?
That is so true. So, any standout scenes?
Okay.
There's so many.
You're right. So, I'm going to say this. The music is good, but I don't like it.
I know you don't.
But I do love Glenn Campbell a lot.
Really?
Which is nuts. I'm a Glenn Campbell fan.
Okay.
So, and
because of this movie, it ingrained in you.
It might have been low key. Like,
you recognize the voice, and it just like programming.
Yeah. He's up there. But the thing about it for me with the overall standout scenes is the opening number
is amazing.
It's up there.
Sun gon' shine. You better shine. You better shine. You better shine. You better shine.
This isn't hyperbolic when I say this. This is a hot take.
Okay.
It's up there with the opening of Lion King.
Really?
When the sun comes up and the opening to Rock-A-Doodle, that musical number where you see the barnyard, you see the thing, you see Chanticleer just out here. It's ill.
It is
fucking sick. Like, it's dope. Another standout scene, and then I'll kick it to you if you have some.
Oh, you could.
The end, it reminds me of Fern Gully when the...
Oh, this is also the studio that brought you Fern Gully.
Yeah, they're fucking dynamite.
Don Bluth.
Yeah. when the owl turns into a giant hurricane, basically in the barnyard tornado again.
Yes.
It's totally ripping off Wizard of Oz. But when he turns into that and Chanticleer is drowning until he literally becomes a fucking comet of awesomeness with his cock-a-doodle-doo out the ground, out the mud.
Out the mud.
Out the fucking mud.
Chanticleer was out the mud before it was a saint.
Hell yeah, he was. And he was up in that ass. And he that was sick. That was sick. So those are my two. Do you have any others that you'd like to add?
So mine are kind of, one was definitely the open scene. Like the opening scene is just, and I love that song. And it just I don't know if you saw me, but I literally perked up. It was
I was watching. You were I 9 years old.
I love this. I fucking love this movie. And I felt it. It's one of those, you know how you could just put on a song and it just lifts your mood. When that song started with the opening, it was just I'm watching Rock-A-Doodle and everything's okay.
Right with the world. Trump isn't implying.
Nope. Everything's right.
We're happy on the barnyard.
So that was definitely a scene. I'll say a standout scene watching it growing up, being a grown up now watching it, because I feel like I haven't seen it in a minute. The scenes with the fox and Goldie, I was like, oh my gosh.
It's dark.
This is so... It feels icky. Because I don't remember really caring. It was just she's a bad guy. That was the extent of my feelings about she's gonna hurt Chanticleer.
We just understood her as a honeypot.
Yeah. And so it's just but now it's just oh my gosh.
She's being sexually exploited by the industry.
Yes. It's just I felt I don't remember feeling having any strong. Actually, I remember not liking her. I was mad that they got together at the end. I was Chanticleer doesn't she doesn't deserve Chanticleer. She tried to hurt his friends. But now it's just no, I feel as an adult, it's just oh no.
She was a girl with a dream.
See, yeah. Yeah, it's everyone starts in the chorus line unless you get pimped out, basically. So it's just that was crazy. And so that stood out to me so much. Another thing that stood out to me is when her and Edmund first interacted, because she was afraid, you're the bad kitty, starts screaming and then starts crashing her own shit. I was this is a specific type of woman. I know who this is. I'm not gonna say it on pod, but I know who this is. Because she's not even throwing the stuff at him. She just starts destroying the shit in her room and screaming. And it's just oh, yeah, I know who you are. Mm-hmm. So that's a standout scene. And then the Chanticleer turning into a rocket, and then I love it. I love the ending. I love the whole movie. The sun
comes out.
You
love the whole movie?
I really do.
Okay, so this segues into a
because even the annoying parts, a standout, it stands out because it's grating when they're going to the city through the drainage pipe, and the fucking magpie is drilling the magpie.
There's a magpie.
Yeah, is drilling holes into the toy chest that they're traveling in, and then it starts almost drowning them, and he's I need air. Drills, water comes through, not air. I need air.
I think that's where I learned what claustrophobia was. Truly.
And then because they literally explain it, because Edmund, the little kitten that you hate, is what's wrong with him? Why is he doing this?
He's having a full blown.
He is spazzing out. No, he's not spazzing out. He's having a panic attack. Yeah. And then the dog is trying, Tattoo is trying to hold him and console him because he is about to drown them all in his panic attack. But then Peepers pokes up and she's just the voice of reason.
Let's go to
Peepers is a real
Let's go to characters right now.
Yeah, because
we're on characters.
But
let's give a quick 2 minutes on Peepers. Feminist icon mouse
with fucking Ginger.
With Ginger, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Peepers. She's out here.
That's right.
Peepers is brilliant. And then there's even scenes where subtle, and this is why I now rewatching it, I'm holy shit.
She's dealing with subtle sexism from the magpie the whole
there's a moment
time.
there's a literal moment in the movie where they say oh, you don't know how to drive, you're a girl, or something like that, and she's what, and she just gets pissed and she just does the shit because she's brilliant, and she doesn't explain girls can do what guys
no she just does it,
eats her fucking lunch.
That's right.
Peepers, feminist icon, always welcome on the pod. Chanticleer.
Yeah, you said you wanted Chanticleer.
Sex icon for children. Go ahead. I see the look. You can't, listeners, you cannot see the look on her face, but it looks like she wants to bang a
rooster,
fold out rooster. I mean, Chanticleer is way more built than me. I'll say that.
Oh no, he is. Yeah,
he is stacked.
A girl can dream. Get ripped, babe.
I mean, something. The thing that's wild about Chanticleer to me, and even with Goldie too, and this is something I was thinking about, was sort of like they did. I don't know if.
I think it's something like that something that I noticed now, and I don't know if I noticed before, was the way they have, like, Chanticleer is the only one that is like that on the farm.
Yeah.
They make the rest of them
more
very homely in their, but it's weird because they're like humanization of animals anyway. So it's just like the fact that they did that intention. And then there's even like degrees of it throughout the animals.
He dyes his like red parts.
Yeah, his hair feathered. He dyes them black when he goes to
when he's the king,
you know. And so it's just like
another deep element of this too. Is I understand what the critics were saying about identity.
Yeah.
But I do think they did a bad job at that and to a degree. But my problem with Chanticleer, and it's
oh, you have a problem with Chanticleer. Oh my God.
No. But it's not his fault. It's the creation of this movie. Glenn Campbell is awesome. Glenn Campbell is awesome in the movie.
Yes.
As Chanticleer. But the thing I hate about it is it's Glenn Campbell doing an impression of Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
And so it's this like Elvis Presley rooster, which I just don't like. I think it's annoying.
Well, you don't like Elvis.
I mean, I'm not.
I mean, they didn't tell us how old Goldie was.
That part too, you know. But you're not wrong. But I think because and so this is my weird mind. Glenn Campbell has his own sort of style, which comes through in the music.
Yes.
But but
I think I think what you're saying is something that I love about it, because you can tell the difference. No, you can tell the difference when Chanticleer is singing as Chanticleer and then when Chanticleer is singing as the king.
Because Glenn Campbell's an icon.
And that's why it's like the parts that touch our standout scenes are not any of the songs from when he's fucking the king. It's when he's back on the farm. Like that. You feel the heart. You feel the heart. I don't know.
So you ride for Edmund.
I don't ride for Edmund. I just understand that he is the avatar for us. Like,
wouldn't it be better though if it was Peepers?
No.
No, I disagree.
Peeper knows too much. That's what she can't be, because then problems get solved way quicker.
But wait. I agree with that. Wait. What if Peepers is the avatar? They don't listen to Peepers because she's a woman. Peepers shows and proves the entire way. She's our avatar for the story. Everything else, the movie happens the same. I think it's a much better movie.
No, I don't know. Like, I cannot in this moment objectively answer that, because I feel like the movie is perfect.
All right, keep it moving.
Or like as close to perfect as possible. So, any other characters to talk about?
The magpie
the Grand Duke. Cool. Oh no, the magpie was a jerk. I fucking hated the magpie.
I think Patu he's great, but
Patu.
Patu. It's a P.
Oh, it's Patu?
Yeah.
I changed the thing. Okay.
No. Either way, the hound dog.
The hound dog, yes.
He's very quaint and awesome, but I think they needed more of him. Yeah. They either needed more of him or less of him.
Like, I feel like, but that can be said by like all of the barnyard animals.
Peepers and Edmund get all the burn away from the rest. Okay. That's just my opinion. Okay.
I mean, it's your opinion. So
that's all I gotta say.
I think that's it. Yeah, because that's really all. We talked about Goldie. We talked about
the only other one we didn't talk about, which is the fox. Pinky.
It's Pinky. Yeah, no, but we've talked about him. Talking about the corruption is talking about him, and that's because that's it. Yeah. They had. I thought it was cute that the bouncers were frogs.
Yeah,
like because we'll bounce you once, we'll bounce you twice. Yeah. So I think it's cute.
Wait, there is one character we didn't maybe talk enough about. How do you feel about the Duke of Owls?
The Grand Duke.
Sure. Correct me.
Yeah. And he was like, how many times have I told you not to call me that?
Yeah. What was that character's name, that one owl?
His nephew. I'll look it up, but say what you were going to say about the Duke.
I think played by Christopher Plummer.
Yes.
We love.
Yes.
He's eating the fucking scenery anytime he's in there.
Yes.
He's so good.
Clearly.
But I feel like he's almost
Snipes.
too evil for this movie.
Really?
Because his whole goal is, I am going to murder the
all of
farm.
you. I wanted to stay night because so I can just eat all of y'all at my own
In
pace.
one night.
Yeah.
In one night, I'm going to kill everyone.
And it doesn't even make sense really because like,
Yeah.
just eat them in the night and then go back. But you know, whatever. But I would say, I love his, like, so this animation, this design for these owls, like him, not so much, but his lackeys remind me of Owl from Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
And love
Which
Winnie
we
the
love.
Pooh.
Always welcome on the pod.
Love Winnie the Pooh. I will say I like his menace. I don't feel like he came off like now it's like, oh no, like he's like evil. I think it's like, but I like that. I think we did a good job of, you know, there's lots of like cartoons now, and children's movies where like the evil, the antagonist,
there's some justification.
There's some justification. It's childhood trauma. It's parent trauma. I am so tired of that trend. Like, I think it was important. I think we did it. And I think we need to get back because there are people that are just evil sometimes.
Yeah. They're literally all craven.
Yeah. And like, because it's even like, I'll say the biggest one that like really upset me is when they did the Cruella de Vil movie, because it's literally like there was no need to humanize her. She was a batshit crazy woman who wanted to murder saw puppies and was like, oh my gosh, this is my next coat. Kill all them. We need to kill all the puppies. And I'm about to be in some fly ass, like stitched together pelt coats. Like that was it. We did not need some backstory and they changed the story. Like she never really wanted to kill them. Like, yes, she did. She tried to drive them off the road. She tried to hit them. Like she hunt them down. Like,
Make evil people.
Yeah,
evil.
she was just evil. And I think this is just like, oh no, like he is just evil. Like he's just evil. And then even like evil people are mean to the people that follow them too. Like when they were about to eat everyone and he realized he ended up with the smallest little chick, he was like, pass the pork, and threw the little chick at one of his followers. And it's like, yeah, that's all you get.
Yeah.
Like, give me this pig.
Or we can say being a lackey to billionaires, it's not going to make you
don't
rich.
Get shit.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. On to the next thing.
Yeah. So, talking about production. So the music. This was the other biggest complaint from critics. They called it, some of them said it was okay. It was a little kitschy and cute. But a lot of them were like, it's Bach versus rock and it's trashy. It wasn't as good as and I think that goes back to the comparison with the Disney of the day. And I think it also is like something that I feel like with this movie, because of Chanticleer and his like role as being a singer and stuff, it feels like it should be more important, but it's really not. And I feel like a lot of the critics talk about the movie that this production company put out right before this one was All Dogs Go to Heaven. And it was like, see, the movie sucked from that one. The music sucks for that one. The music sucks from this one. And it's like, anyone who remembers All Dogs Go to Heaven is not fucking caring about the fucking music. Like, the story has heart. And I feel like it's something similar here. There's just more songs because like there's his shows where he's going through whatever little song that action, there's other shit happening that you should be paying attention to. Like, that is my take. Fuck the critics. And that's just, what do you think, babe?
I'm going to say it was ahead of its time. I think that country music in 1991, Garth Brooks hadn't hit yet. Honestly, had this movie hit later and Garth Brooks did the voice of Chanticleer, this movie is humongous.
This is gold. We should redo it now. We need to get Garth Brooks.
No, we don't need Garth Brooks right now.
Oh, we don't.
We need Shabuzi.
Ooh,
that's what it is.
Oh, we leaning all the way into the right story.
That's right.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
There was no black people.
At all.
It is all white people.
Yeah. But as far as
there's barely any women.
True.
It's all white men.
But the impact of this film, I do want to say that one of the things that still stands out to this day to me, though, the animation is stellar.
Yes, they talked about it. Even this is one positive thing that the critics said was the animation was amazing and was even better than Beauty and the Beast that came out in the same year.
I'm going to say this. I agree with that. I also am going to say, because it's almost as grittier. Like if they had the budget of Beauty and the Beast, this movie would have been off the charts.
Smoking.
I think Rock-A-Doodle, there's so many other animation movies that followed that owe Rock-A-Doodle a fucking salute.
Okay, so we're getting into the influence. So tell us what movies come to mind when you think of movies that Rock-A-Doodle influenced.
No, not Anastasia. I know that they did, but that's not what I'm thinking of. I am thinking of, damn it.
So while he's thinking of the movies that came after, I'll tell you a bit. I was mentioning a little bit about the source material. So Rock-A-Doodle is actually based on the French play Chanticleer, which is basically the same story except for with more murder and cockfight.
Yeah.
Did you need to? You couldn't wait.
No, yeah, we'll go back to French Chanticleer and cockfighting. Always and forever. But I just remember. Atlantis, Treasure Planet. I think these movies take a lot of liberty from what Rock-A-Doodle built, especially just in the expression of the characters. I think in some of the whimsical like side characters. Snipe is kind of useless the whole movie, but how many movies have that character? It's just like, oh, that's nuts and bolts. And what does he do? Oh, he stumbles around and gets electrocuted and fucks everything up. So I would say that. Yeah.
Cool. So as I was saying, it's based on a French play that has like the same story. So it's really interesting. I think you should read it. But that was also based on the short story from the Canterbury Tales, or poem, depending on who you ask, called Chancer. And so I think that this is something that I just realized, or just learned rather, because I didn't realize it. I think it is really interesting. Like, the Canterbury Tales is like the oldest written stories that's recognized, because it's like English. It's one of the first written in English language closest to what we speak now. So it's just like the fact that it goes back, that like Rock-A-Doodle is based on a story from the story from the fucking Canterbury Tales is like amazing to me. It's like, it's crazy. But the core message from both of these is the danger of giving in to cynicism. Do you feel like they hit the mark?
No.
Oh, really?
I think that's one thing that doesn't work.
The Hollywood elements took away from that, because now you're agreeing with the critic.
No, and this kind of segues into something new I wanted to introduce that I want to call. No, I'm going to talk about that. This is what I want you to chime in. Oh. This is what I'm calling Nique's beefs.
Okay.
What's your beef with this film? Is there any beef that you have with this film? Anything that you're like, no. Or I was going to call it Dom's Bombs. I couldn't figure out which one I like better.
I like Nique's beefs.
Nique's beefs. So one of my beefs.
Oh, what's one of your beefs?
Has to do with the like, really, dog? You're going to bail on the whole entire barnyard just because they were like,
because they clowned his ass and said they don't need him.
They roasted him once. This guy was
They said, you're crazy. We don't need you. The sun gonna shine without you. And he said,
for days, he had food, shelter, clothing. He was literally the cock of the walk. And was just like the one day, because after defending the barnyard from an assassin, I just got my
ass beat, and I'm down, and y'all gonna talk about y'all don't need me, y'all gonna clown me while I'm down. That's what they did. They literally laughed him out of town. They laughed him off the farm.
The reason why I'm not rolling is because he goes Hollywood. Okay, I understand. Wait. I understand what you're saying. He leaves the barnyard. He's like,
he goes and gets exploited.
No, but then why the hell does he build a house that's exactly like the barnyard? Because that's some bitch made.
He felt like he had to go. He felt like they didn't want him. Trash. It literally says that. This is not me inferring.
I know why he felt like he missed them and all. I get it. I'm just saying.
He wished that things could go back to being the same. He wished that whatever.
That's why the minute danger happens, they're like, I think that's also a little moral of the story.
Well, no, that's the
is
moral
stop
story is
check in on your strong friends. Stop hating on them.
yeah, don't hate on the people. Like, it's appreciate the people who are down for you. Chanticleer, like, he was defending them. Rose to something, like, even if he wasn't like, and I guess that's part of the story, like in the play, is realizing that it's about the morality. And with him, it's not just like, yeah, the sun's gonna shine regardless, but who starts your day? The sun doesn't start your day. You hear Chanticleer, like, and it raises the morale of the farm overall, the humans and the animals. And that's the importance.
So do you have any beefs with this one? Nique's beefs. Make that a drop.
Little Nique's beef, I told you, was like, I didn't feel like Goldie deserved Chanticleer at the end. I feel like he should have left her in the city.
But did you change your mind on that?
Yeah.
She had her little overalls at the end. It was cute.
Yeah, she was like, I can be a country
I don't think it's gonna work out. If I had to guess, it ain't gonna work.
She's gonna go back to the city. She's gonna be like, Penny, I'm so sorry, or Pinky, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I want to be a lead singer again. But I think it was cute now. I guess my beef is with the cultural impact, which I'll talk about now. So I mentioned how critics did not like All Dogs Go to Heaven. All Dogs Go to Heaven bombed in the box office. And then with this being the next movie and also bombing, it led to the closure of this production house. And they had to sell, like, even though they had those 3 movies I mentioned that came out after it, Thumbelina, Troll in Central Park, and
Ferngully.
Ferngully. I think, no, it wasn't Ferngully. But they had those 3 movies like mid-production. They had to sell portions of the rights to a Chinese media company called Media Assets that then got bought by Fox. So it actually, the failure of this movie led to the expansion of Fox Media.
Yeah.
Or assisted in the expansion of Fox Media.
Long story less long is now Disney. So
yeah, so it's like the way it comes around. And they left Disney off of, I guess, managerial differences.
Yeah.
Like, because they did work on, this is the team that did The Fox and the Hound. So the fact that it ends up like back being owned by
That's
Disney,
why I think All Dogs
crazy.
Go to Heaven did badly, just kind of to put a bow on it. There's too many really awesome dog movies that All Dogs Go to Heaven is dark.
It's great.
It's great. No, but it's dealing with heavy shit too.
Oh yeah,
like
well,
this.
And 1 and 2, like people, there is death. That's All Dogs Go to Heaven
dead.
because
it's almost like the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze, but before that. So like, yeah, but the thing is like after 101 Dalmatians, after The Fox and the Hound, after like there was another 101 Dalmatians, Fox and the Hound. There was like another one.
You're talking about Oliver and Company?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Oliver and Company. Good one.
And all good movies. It was just like back to back to back.
Yeah.
So
let's go to our final call though. Let's get to these last little bit of extra bits in the film Rock-A-Doodle. What do you put on a pedestal, Dominique? Just say the film.
Chanticleer.
I'll be honestly, that was the most annoying part.
It really is annoying. It's one of those things that I remember, and then it makes me. It's kind of that moment where I watched a home video with my mom once, and I was just like, "Oh my fucking goodness, my voice is so fucking."
Yeah.
You had to listen to that all the time because my voice sounded kind of like Edmund's. Like, oh my gosh. Like, and so, but it's one of the parts that I remember loving, like Chanticleer, and we all need to cheer. We need to tell him that we love him and we need him. Like, but like that, and then it's drawn out too because the other things are happening. So it's just like, damn, this is kind of grating. But overall, Chanticleer, like the character, the vibe, the downness.
Yeah, he was down.
He was down as fuck. Like,
down. Rooster.
Down as Rooster. He goes on the pedestal for me.
Cool. For me, I'm going to say it is the theme of Hollywood exploitation and rural.
I'm over here like sunshine, and you're like exploitation. And,
no, I was going to give you darker. No, and the overtaking of rural America by religious fundamentalists.
Oh, wait, so the Owls are religious fundamentalists now?
What do you think? It's the same shit.
And they were playing an organ. And where else do you hear organs?
All their songs sound like Gregorian chants and shit.
So the Catholic Church specifically.
I don't know. because they're not cattle.
They're not.
No, but they're trying to devour the rural, homely folks. It's basically the erasure of like homely rural folks for more like dark and aggressive, nefarious religious iconography.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Grand Duke is like an archduke?
I would actually say he might even be, I don't want to put it on the pod out there because algorithms catch it, but I think he might be KKK. When you think about it. On some Grand Wizard shit.
Because he did have magic.
He had
and he was the Grand Duke. They just swapped out the maybe, you know.
That's what's on my pedestal.
Maybe y'all watch Rock-A-Doodle and DM us if you see the same,
or if you think I'm crazy.
Yeah, like let us know. So now, Roos, what movie would you do a double feature with Rock-A-Doodle? What movie is your pairing?
I have two, maybe one, because the bullet whiskey is really kicking in. The first is Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, okay.
Because the whole human cartoon element, I think Rock-A-Doodle is a good, like you start with Rock-A-Doodle and you end with Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And I think the animation's excellent. Not any singing really in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but it's just more like, animate. Sometimes we need to go back in animation where we like look at it and we're like, animation kicks ass sometimes.
Yeah.
And Rock-A-Doodle and Who Framed Roger Rabbit are definitely 1 and 2. The other movie I would pair with Rock-A-Doodle, and I'm being so fucking serious when I say this, SLC Punk. Go watch. Yes. SLC Punk is about a person trying to find their way, dealing with sellout culture, and ultimately sort of losing a lot in that journey, and also not giving in necessarily to cynicism. So yeah, SLC Punk and Rock-A-Doodle. That's why you listen to this podcast, you 3 people who listen to this podcast.
Yeah, because now you're like, what the fuck is that? I got to go look that up too.
Yeah. All right. So we have our ranking system about our films.
You're not going to ask me?
I'm sorry. I thought you did. I'm bad. I told you the bullet's kicking in.
So my movie that I would pair Rock-A-Doodle with is another movie. It's another underrated favorite and will be on the pod in the future. It's Cats Don't Dance. Another great musical, Hollywood exploitation of the people by the few. Just a great movie overall. Another animated movie. Yeah. And yeah.
I got one more.
Oh, you got one more? Okay.
One more. And it's also animated. Rescuers Down Under.
Yes.
I can see that. Yeah. Anywho, that was a good animated kid. And
that was a good animated.
Yeah. Fuck Edmund. Anywho, let's go to our ranking system before we wrap it up here. So on underrated favorite, we decide to grade these films and list them out. After this dissection of media, we like to give them a score. So at the very top, we have the underrated favorite, which is like, this movie deserves its flower. Give it all the props in the world.
Watch it right now.
Yes. After that, we have Good But Slept On, which means the movie didn't reach the heights that maybe it should have hit because there were better movies out at the time, but still deserves your attention. After that, we have Historically Mid, for those solid movies that just didn't burn because, you know what, maybe they were a mid. After that, we have the Good Bad Movie, for those movies that are objectionably bad, and yet sometimes we love them. We just do. And then at the very, very bottom, we have the Certified Flop. This movie deserves nothing but the worst. So, Dominique, Rock-A-Doodle.
You already know this is an underrated favorite.
Air horn that shit.
Yes.
My ranking.
Your ranking.
I have to be honest.
No.
For the people.
Be honest for the people.
I have to be objective. It's an underrated favorite. It has its problems, but that's the point of this podcast. We're not doing Godfather 2, motherfucker. We're doing the movies that were out that critics might have hated because they were some haters, but they had the deep shit. And just like Death to Smoochie had deep shit, Rock-A-Doodle, this was a great follow-up to Death to Smoochie.
And you know what? And also, this is another movie like Robots. I'm telling you, have your kids watch this movie.
Yeah.
Radicalize your kids, people. It's time. It's currently streaming on Prime Video.
So that does it for us. Thank you all so much for listening. This is a Gemini's production. My name is Rooster.
And I'm Me.
If you would like to follow us, follow Gemini's production on Instagram, apparently on TikTok too, where we're catching all kinds of hell. And you can find us on Instagram at Underrated Favorites Pod. Until next time, I'm Rooster.